All right, it's a Saturday in the park, and we've got sim action for you. As Jaron Duran leads it off against Nick Pivetta. On a beautiful afternoon here. Nick Pivetta, the right-hander, throws and gets a fastball right by him. So we are off here at Sim City, McCoy Stadium. On a Saturday in the park, a 77-degree day and sunny. Clear skies. We thank Dan Fontaine running the high home. Paw Sox Productions. Alex Richardson helping out on TrackMan. It is a Saturday in the park, and Sim City is underway. As we join Jaron Duran's at bat, Nick Pivetta pitching, and that's inside. Josh Maurer, Tim Quidadamo, my partners. We thank Paw Sox Productions. We always thank Dan Fontaine running the high home. We've got Nick Pivetta, Jay Groom on this Saturday in the park. 77, sunny, clear skies. A beautiful day to play baseball. As Duran swings and misses at a good changeup. And that's how we start. Josh, welcome you. Good to see you. And you're looking good, the arm, by the way.
Yeah, I went slingless for the first time up here in the press box. Mike, good to be with you. Sorry about the little delayed start. We see the end of that first batter, and that's a good result for Nick Pivetta. Look, the Red Sox have a lot of eyeballs on this right-handed pitcher that they just gave up quite a bit for, trading both Brandon Workman and Heath Hembry to get him back from the Phillies. And the first time we saw him pitch Monday, Mike, he was just starting to get his feet wet, went 3 innings, gave up a lot of hard contact. So they're going to look for improvement today, especially with the fastball and the curveball.
Chatham takes outside. A good changeup to strike out Duran. Tim Quidadamo's directing. As we have Jim Kane on assignment this weekend, Jim is hanging out at the beach.
What an assignment it is.
C.J. Chatham takes a fastball low, and really in that outing for Pivetta was just commanding his secondary stuff. His curveball was off. He hadn't pitched in a while. And the fastball was up, and those guys were right on it. This one's hit hard on a hop to second base. And out is Chatham as Arroyo makes the play. And there are 2 outs here in Sim City. Pivetta and Groom. So you have a guy that wants to get back to the big leagues. And the Red Sox are hoping that Jay Groom will be there in the future.
Yep, indeed. This is a really interesting matchup. By the way, Pivetta, they're going to stretch him out 1 more inning than they did on Monday. He's supposed to go 4. And then Jay Groom, like 5 innings again today. He's coming off an appearance last weekend when he was as good as we had ever seen him. So he's got a lot of momentum coming into this. Look forward to seeing the young guy versus the older veteran.
And then Steven Gonzalez for 3. Here is a changeup for a strike to Tristan Casas, who joined us on Zoom yesterday and was outstanding. This guy, every at-bat is like Game 7 of the World Series.
It's unbelievable. The discipline he has for a 20-year-old. I know this makes me feel old, so I feel bad for you guys. He was born January 15th in the year 2000.
Oh, wow.
2000. And his plate discipline is unbelievable. You would think he's a 10-year MLB vet.
So this is what we get from UTQ. We invite you onto the broadcast and you just take shots at me and Mike.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Right away,
Thanks.
I'm throwing shots.
Shots fired already. Well, and he talked about it. There's a great article in The Athletic Josh forwarded to me today, and I think in high school he realized, hey, I'm going to be a professional. And I'm sure in high school it was tough to lay off pitches, but his plan is advanced. Not many kids will choke up, but just the discipline that he has.
Yeah, and the discipline along with his stance and choking up on the bat with 2 strikes. I know a lot of our fans on Facebook and Twitter said they see Joey Votto comparisons, so I don't think anyone was really surprised when in that Zoom call Casas said he did model his game after Joey Votto.
Yeah, I think it was really cool to hear him say that.
Oh, it was.
Because we had seen it, and then he confirmed it.
And he hits a high pop-up on the left side. See Billy McMillan running over. A long run for Jeter down, sprinting and making the play. Good catch by Jeter. And Nick Pivetta will see only 3 batters. Sometimes in Sim City they change the rules. If a pitcher has not thrown enough pitches, they will let him stay out there. But Pivetta is done as he says hello to Jay Groom, who will make his way out. This is all presented by Bank of America. We've got a good crowd watching on Facebook. Make sure to, as the kids say, right, smash that like button, comment, share, retweet us on Twitter. That's the Periscope app. and enjoy an afternoon of baseball. Also, Josh and Tim, I want to thank Peter Gammons. He has sent out some really nice tweets, and we thank him for watching.
Yeah, that's a Hall of Famer right there. So we appreciate it for Peter Gammons, one of the greatest baseball reporters ever. So thanks for tuning in. And everybody, we have gotten such nice words. So it does hearten us, I think, or we take it to heart, the fact that people have been appreciative of what we've been able to bring, because we've had a lot of fun doing it. I said this, Mike, and I actually mean it. Even if nobody was watching, I'd be happy to be up here calling these games.
I agree with you. I want to start with you, Josh. We'll get to Tim. This camp, though, for me, there's something to it with the younger guys, the way that they're blending in, but I feel like now my opinion of some guys have changed. Jay Groom, Tristan Casas, for their age, for their experience, they belong here with these older guys.
And for Groom, who you see starting to warm up, and again, it'll be 5 innings for him here this afternoon. Look, he had never faced a batter in a competitive game above the A-ball level, right? And he'd had 2 full years just about that he'd been shut down coming off of Tommy John surgery. All of a sudden, he's thrown into the fire against batters who have had a lot of major league time, most of them the upper levels of the minor league at minimum. And for the first outing or two, I think you could see that, right? He was struggling to figure out a way to compete against those guys who would leave pitches out over the plate and get hurt by it. But the last couple of times he's pitched, Mike, he has shown every bit the skill, the competitiveness, and the ability to pitch that the Red Sox saw when he was coming out of high school that made him the 12th overall pick in the draft a few years ago. He's like growing up before our eyes.
Yeah, and TQ, some will say, well, he's got good stuff, but still, he's pitching at a pretty high level.
Yeah, and especially with young guys like this, I know everyone wants someone who's throwing 100 and has their breaking stuff. He's sitting in the mid-90s, which is a nice spot to be, especially from the left side. But I've been really impressed with, like you guys were saying, how he's developed as a pitcher. A lot of times with younger guys who are highly touted, they come into programs as more throwers. They just have great pitches. But again, talking about a young guy with a great approach, Jay Groom has been phenomenal so far.
Yeah, 2 good fastballs to Pareda.
You mentioned Casas. He's got him playing first base, helping him out behind him.
Chatham is at short. We've got a center fielder. It's rolled foul. Gurrion is on deck. He's wearing number 40, recently acquired off waivers. He's on Boston's 40-man roster. Centeno's on deck. So all the catchers get to swing it. It's a catcher first inning against Groom. All fastballs here. Pareda stays alive.
I think that's news, by the way, for those who are tuning in and looking for the update of the day. I think it's that Davy Gurrion is not only here only 2 days after being claimed off of waivers, but he's going to play in this game. For most of the guys who had been new additions to the organization, when they got to the taxi squad, Mike, it took them at least 3-4 days before they actually threw him into the fire.
Yeah, not Gurrion. Chopped on the left side. Billy McMillan with those soft hands. He's doing it all.
Go get him, Billy.
Having fun in the sunshine. So Pareda will be an out. Here is Centeno. Red Sox split an interesting doubleheader yesterday because both road teams won. What does that mean? Well, Toronto was the home team for Game 2. That Game 1 took almost 3 hours, but the Red Sox got a well-deserved split.
And Josh, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Jairo Munoz, 6 hits between the 2 games, and they were only 7-inning games, so 6 hits through 14 innings. That's your guy.
That is no surprise to this reporter. All you had to do was listen to me, guys. I'd have told you would have gone 6 for 7 in a doubleheader.
That's
right?
true. He is a free swinger.
Centeno takes outside. Now, in Game 1, I was excited. I was listening to the radio. Jackie had a 3-0 count. They're down 8-7, 2 outs, and I said, all right, Jairo's going to hit a walk-off. But Jackie made an out. Oh, what a catch! And a drop, but an out. Wow, that was smoked by Centeno. Good thing is, Groom's all right. A ball smashed back to the mound can turn into a different result.
Wow, Mike, that got on him so quickly, right at his midsection. Got the glove out to protect himself, if nothing else, and he knocked the ball down. Actually, as you said, he almost caught it on the fly, but they're not even going to go check on him. So he is A-OK, which is good news. Man,
Bruce
that
Crabb,
was some exit velocity from Centeno.
Yeah, Bruce Crabb was quick with the out, safe, out again. Here is Gurrion in his debut, and he takes a big hack. He's only 24, but he started his pro career at 17. He's played in 606 games. as a pro. No, 4 major league games. And last year in Lehigh Valley, he had 21 homers in 108 games. In 18, he had 21 in Reading in 90 games. Those are some friendly ballparks. But this guy's got good power, and that's off the plate. You guys saw him last year?
Yeah, we saw him a lot playing in the International League. He is a compact, kind of squatty catcher, right? He looks like a catcher, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
With the build that he's got. But he packs a wallop.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of catchers that have the kind of power that he does.
No, absolutely not. And he did hit for a very good average at 283 last year with Lehigh Valley. And one stat that jumps out to me, drove in 77 runs in only 108 games played.
And they got up to the major leagues, as you said, Mike.
2 for 9 in the big leagues. That's a breaking ball outside. Looks a lot like Tim Fedorovich. They're built the same way. Short, stocky catchers. That position, though, has changed over the years. You look at someone like Gary Sanchez, Mike Piazza. Tall. I mean, you don't see a lot of tall catchers. Groom fires, and that's right there. Boy, Grullon looked out at Groom as to say, it's a pretty good pitch.
I guess they called it ball 4, Mike.
I guess they did, yeah. Good at bat by Grullon, and here is Christian Arroyo.
It's funny, you're talking about the stature and who he compares to. It's not terribly dissimilar from Christian Vasquez.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of catchers here. All from outside the organization. And an infielder in the batter's box outside the organization. And that's ball 1.
Yeah, this is Christian Arroyo getting a bat. So first 2 batters were out for Jay Groom. We have seen some walks in his appearances. Even when he's been on, he does nibble around the strike zone. So if you're patient against this guy, sometimes he'll give you a base, which is what Grullon did in his first plate appearance against him. But yeah. I still think he looks very sharp.
Yeah, he still threw well in that at-bat. That's going to be the big difference, the hurdle for Groom now facing older hitters. They won't chase as much as they will in the lower levels. Arroyo takes outside. I've always heard pitchers say that's the big difference. They get to the big leagues and these guys don't swing at anything.
Yep. You know what the other difference is, too? The umpires.
Yeah.
The umpires generally, I know you could get some argument about that, especially this year, but they have a better idea of the strike zone, too.
Swing and a miss. And for those that don't know, too, in A-ball, they only have 2 umpires, which I forgot.
Same as your local Little League.
TQ's got to be a pretty good umpire.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that.
No.
I think I like confrontation a little bit too much. I'd make it about myself.
Groom delivers, swing and a miss. Good fastball. He had a really good fastball in that inning. Despite the walk to Grullon, that's what you want to see early on is good old number 1 working.
And Christian Arroyo's got a lot of big league time, too. I mean, it's not like it's just going up there against an A-ball hitter. That's an experienced guy, and he just blew him away. Good stuff. Good start.
Nick Pivetta takes the mounds. Sim City is presented by Bank of America. Let's pause for these messages.
We are entering a new chapter in our lives. Our confidence is shaken, cracked. We didn't ask for it, but we are rising to meet it. And how far we've come isn't even close to how far we can go. There's a crack in everything for a reason. How else can the light get in? Tomorrow starts today.
Hashtag SimCity. Use that when you're tweeting. The Red Sox taxi squad is here at the alternate site. There's alternate sites all over the country. We're at McCoy as Nick Pivetta, who had a perfect first. He struck out Duran, he got Chatham the ground out, he got Cassis to foul out. And we're here every day pretty much. We do have some off days. But what's going to be a little bit interesting this year with our jobs, guys, is that we'll have baseball longer than we usually do. Since they're scheduled to play until September 26th, we usually aren't doing games that long.
That's right. We're on the minor league side, for those who don't know us. And yeah, Labor Day, that's the end of the minor league season for just about everybody. They're going to continue this alternate site until at least the final week in the month of September. So we got baseball being played here at McCoy Stadium for at least 3 weeks longer than you normally would, Mike. Kind of nice for us.
Certainly is. It's been nice for Josh Ockamy. He's put together a string of really good at-bats, seeing the ball well.
Yeah, he's really heated up in the last week. And this is a matchup I'm very interested to see. Last time Ockamy saw Pavetta in one of these sim games hit a home run just fair down the line. TrackMan had it 464 feet.
Which Josh has brought to small claims court to Judge Judy.
The appeal of my appeal is still pending, I think, in the legal system. But it was a long home run. That was for sure.
Next one's low. It's 1-1 to Ockamy. 3 infielders on the right side. That is it. No outfielders. We do have the mowing of the berm, which I love during the game. There we go. There's a shot. That is great theater and will be a staple at all minor league ballparks when fans are allowed in.
Oh, I thought you meant the theater was the mowing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the new entertainment now.
They're going to do that mid-game.
2021.
Alex Tedesco out there on the mower.
Hey, if it's sponsored, they'll do it. Fastball is high. So Josh Ockamy, who's played mainly first, we've seen a little bit of him in lefts. He's a Philly guy, so he's facing a former Philly and Nick Pavetta. Wonder if he told Nick, hey, I liked you over there at the Phillies. That's a fastball up and away. Once you get drafted by a different organization, you tend to hide your fandom. Downs to hit next. Pavetta throws. Oh, good pitch. Took a lot off it. Off-speed pitch. And Ockamy could not hold up. That's a beauty to a left-handed batter.
You know, he was talking about different pitching styles that he's gone through. Even in the last couple of years, he's had a plethora of different pitching coaches in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They've been changing that position, and they've had different philosophies for how Nick should work to hitters. And it almost sounded like when we spoke with him earlier this week that he just was ready to go back to what he had done earlier in his career.
It's not easy.
Yeah, he was tired of kind of changing around. He wanted to go back, especially 2018. A couple of years ago when he had his most big league success as a starter with Philadelphia. Back to that original formula that worked. We'll see what ideas the Red Sox have. He's working with Paul Abbott, the new pitching coach for him here. But, of course, Dave Bush and the Major League staff, I'm sure, is going to have a lot of input.
Downs takes outside. Well, the strikeouts have been there for Pavetta. 188 in 18, but he gave up a lot of hits. It's really commanding the curveball consistently. Now, that off-speed pitch he threw to Ockamy was nasty. Downs takes low and away. 3 games this year with the Phillies. So that's been his team in the big leagues. He was originally drafted by the Nationals. But a really heartwarming interview with him on Zoom. He was very friendly, and he's looking forward to being here in Boston. That's a strike. At TQ, we've seen a lot of guys go up, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more here down the stretch.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pavetta. I know he hasn't pitched in a while, but maybe later on in September get called up. Even for some work out of the bullpen, just get him back some more big league experience.
This one's outside with a breaking ball and a ball. We'll make it ball 4 to Downs. Josh, early here, though, he looks a lot better than he did a few days ago.
Yeah, I think he looks sharper, right? And that makes sense because he had that long layoff before he finally got onto the mound for 3 innings on Monday. I will say this. I thought one of the highlights for me in his conversation with the media the other day was that he does not want to be a reliever. He was very open and honest about that. He said, look, the Phillies had decided that was going to be the role for me the last couple of seasons, and frankly, I wasn't really comfortable with it. And I think he said one of the most encouraging parts of the trade for him was that the Red Sox had said, yes, we're very open to you moving back into a starter's role.
LaCroix takes a strike. Sometimes with trades, free agent signings, it is the right situation. Nick Pavetta joins a Red Sox team that has had a lot of relievers start games, not just because it's the opener, it's they don't have anybody else. Runner goes, it's high. Quick throw down to second is late, and a great jump by Downs. Pretty good throw by Centeno, right, guys? I mean, there's a necessity in the big leagues.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubting it, and Pavetta must have been really excited coming over to a Red Sox team where he knows that the starting pitching is a little banged up with Chris Sale having Tommy John, Eduardo Rodriguez out, Nate Eovaldi on the IL for a little bit too. So Pavetta's a guy who's probably going to hope that he can come up and at least get a spot start.
One thing that you noticed there, and I'm sure Jeter Downs did, he's not very quick to the plate, even out of the stretch. That base was stolen on Pavetta because Centeno made a very strong throw. It made it closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, sometimes it's unfair for the catchers. That slider's low. I mean, if you look at next year, potentially you get Sale and Rodriguez back, and you have Eovaldi and Perez, and you put Pavetta as the 5. I mean, baseball average ERA for the 4th and 5th starters, I know Ben Cherington talked about this, is between 4.50 and even 5, those 4 and 5 spots. Cracked foul back. So, I mean, you look at him as a potential 5, that's not bad if it works out. There's going to be a lot of guys auditioning.
Yeah, I was just going to say, look what the Red Sox have been throwing out there. How about yesterday? You had Godley and Mazza starting games in a doubleheader.
Yep. And Godley was not happy when he got taken out. Not sure if you guys saw that. He was very upset.
Mazza did a great job, by the way, against a good Toronto lineup.
There's a pop-up to lefts. Going back is Mauer. He's playing left field today, and Josh makes the catch.
I had it all the way, Mike.
You did. TQ's in center, Alex is in right. But yeah, Mazza was great. And think about that. Your starter for game 1 with 3 innings. You're hoping in a perfect world Mazza goes 4, and he gave up 1 run. He was terrific.
I mean, even Robinson Layer started a game this week. That's how mixed and matched mishmash of a rotation it is right now for Ron Renicke's team. Just trying every day to figure out who it could be to go that first inning. Sometimes it's a chore.
And those all guys who started the year down here in Sim City.
Yep. The alums. We should hang their jerseys up here.
We talked about this yesterday, Mike. Since Monday, so Monday through Friday of this week alone, 5 pitchers left the taxi squad and went to the big leagues. 5 in 5 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. And who knows how many more next week.
Right.
And Matt Hall has not, well, he's back, but he had a chance to pitch yesterday. And he's been up there. Red Sox got great work in that second game. That's inside. Taylor won a scoreless hitting. Now, Layer gave up a run. Oh, it looks like Puyo's done. Okay.
That was a pitch limit for the inning.
Yeah, okay.
After a walk, but unfortunate for Pavetta, he ends up issuing a couple of walks here in his second inning of work. I think that was ball 4.
I don't think so. He only saw 3 pitches, right?
Oh, all right.
It was ball 4 or
we've seen that before.
strike 3, who knows?
Yeah.
I know Pavetta, it looked like he did turn around. I think it was called a ball because it looked like Pavetta did turn around and ask him, really?
All right, bottom of the second inning. It is presented by Bank of America. Mike Antonellis, Josh Mauer, Tim Cudidamo. Nick Pavetta is scheduled to go 4 innings. Jay Groom, though, 5 as Jay is out there. Red Sox are back at it tonight, 7:30 at Fenway Park. As they split a doubleheader yesterday. The Yankees and Blue Jays are battling. Who would have thought that? That there's potential that the Blue Jays are the 8th. They could flip-flop. That would be good theater, though, for a first series matchup of Yankees-Rays.
Oh,
that would
be
the
something?
1-8. That would do well TV-wise. After all the stuff they've been going through, with Chapman throwing 101 over the head of hitters. Red Sox will have Ryan Weber tonight, 0-2 with a 5.79 ERA, and Chase Anderson will pitch for Toronto. Blue Jays, though, they still, I don't know if I trust their pitching, though, their bullpen in the playoffs. Not sure I do.
You like their lineup, though, even though they're young.
Yeah.
Biggio. Now Bichette's going to come back. Guerrero. And how about what Teoscar Hernandez has done for them?
Unreal.
This guy they picked up from Houston a couple of years ago, just kind of a throw-in trade. Man, he's turned into one of the best power hitters in the American League. It's incredible what he's done against the Red Sox in particular. Hit that game-winning home run ultimately in extra innings on Thursday.
Yeah, they showed a stat on the broadcast last night where it was the most home runs at Fenway Park, so obviously against the Red Sox, for an opposing player in the last 5 or so years. Teoscar Hernandez, 10, tied with Edwin Encarnacion, who we know always rakes at Fenway.
Toronto traded Francisco Liriano to the Astros to get him.
I remember when that trade happened, the Buffalo Bisons were here in this ballpark playing Pawtucket.
Wow.
Buffalo is the AAA affiliate for the Blue Jays, and Hernandez came right here. I thought, who's this guy? And then we saw him hit, and we said, he's got some tools.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
They've made some wise trades over the years, I think. Helped build that lineup. Of course, just redid that rotation.
The whole rotation is trades. Isn't that crazy? Paredes the batter. Hernandez has 13 home runs as Paredes takes it low. 298 average.
And then there's Red Sox killer Rowdy Tellez. He had another home run in the doubleheader yesterday.
And he was robbed of a great catch by Jackie. It's fouled off. That would have ended that first game for sure. But you're right about the acquisitions. And Joe Panic, even Travis Shaw. They got VR. Of course, Espinal, that young shortstop they got from the Red Sox, it's poke foul. I saw Mookie Betts hit another home run last night.
Oh, boy. And Santiago Espinal, yeah, he was kind of a throw-in too, wasn't he, from the Red Sox? Guy that had been an original draft pick by Boston, and now he's gone up to become an effective middle infielder. He was in Double-A most of last season, right, Mike?
He was. Swing and a miss. Paredes out. High cheese from Groom, who's looked very good. Fastball command. Outstanding.
And it's got good giddy-up to it. When you throw in high fastballs by these experienced hitters like Johnny Pareda, you know you've got a little extra oomph.
Yeah. Groom sitting 93, touching 94 today. So a little bit more than he had his last time out, where he was consistently 92, 93.
Centeno will face him again. Centeno lined one right back to Groom, in and out of his glove, and he throws him a hook. The Espinal, that was the Steven Pierce trade, which certainly worked out for the Red Sox.
World Series MVP.
Does not have to pay for a drink in Boston, right? Forever?
Oh, for sure.
Ground ball again towards Groom, and an out, says Bruce Crabb, and there are 2 outs. Jay Groom is saying, hey, Centeno, what? I didn't do anything to you. Here's Casas, but that's a good approach. I always say you want to go up the middle.
That's right.
But I really am impressed. You want to see a pitcher come out with fastball command. That's the one thing they talk about early, and it's been great for Groom.
I said this when these two faced off last weekend. Casas v. Groom. You can squint, and then in looking out on the field, in your mind's eye, you're seeing kind of the future of the Boston Red Sox right now on the mound and in the batter's box. Isn't this cool?
It's very cool. And I hope he grounds out the Downs. When it's a shot to right, it's foul. They're hoping Downs becomes that other piece. Everyone knows. Boy, he hit that a long ways.
He just hit that onto the football field.
But you're right, Josh. Groom and Casas are the guys in Boston that fans know of. This one's low.
A couple of first-round picks, separated by a couple of years. And in a normal season, they probably would have gotten to Double-A, and maybe that's it.
And now they're playing at McCoy. That's low and away.
Yeah, it's been, as Tristan talked about yesterday, it's been an unbelievable experience for the real young guys like these two to get to play with so many veterans that are here. Learning on the field and off the field.
It's priceless.
Yeah.
Especially when you see a guy like Casas going yard off of Marcus Walden, who's an effective bullpen arm at the major league level. Seeing him get those reps against Walden and other guys like him and succeeding is just phenomenal to see.
Yeah, huge confidence boosts. They do have 2 infielders. We have 3 outfielders, sort of. There's a fastball right there. Casas took it. From Jay Groom.
Oh, and it looks like we have a fan who was grabbing that Casas foul ball over in right field in the parking lot.
Here's the line from the left-hander. That sails away. Full counts.
It's unbelievable, Mike, how many full counts that Casas has been working here this week. Does it again. Joking how Josh Ockamy seems to do that every time he's in the box. And Casas the same way with that two-strike approach. He just grinds out these long at-bats.
He's had so many deep counts. Let's see if Groom challenges him, though. The interesting pitch here. Oh, breaking ball, and he rips it to right field. Puello back, won't get it. And Tristan Casas doubles off a breaking ball. He probably had a feeling that was coming. He's probably not a guy you give a fastball to. He was right on that.
Yeah, 3-2. Groom elects to go with the breaking ball, left it over the plate a little bit too much, and Cass is a guy who we know chokes up with 2 strikes on him. Still gets a hold of that one into the gap for a double.
The thing about it, TQ, is he's choking up, but he still can hit the ball with authority.
Yeah, he has a lot of pop. I mean, what did he say in the Zoom press conference we had with him? He's 6'5", 250.
Yeah. So what happens in the media guide is they put in the weight when they're drafted. It's usually not updated.
Right.
So people were wondering, but it's good he confirmed it.
Yeah, he is a big dude.
Exit velocity, by the way, on that last double, 105 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah.
No wonder Puello couldn't get it.
Choking up 105 off the bat. That's not bad.
Yeah, he hit a home run choking up. So Grullon will hit for the second time. He walked off of Groom. It was a good battle. So Grullon and Casas have reached off Groom, and that's a fastball up and away. But again, you know, Jonathan Lucroy did this yesterday with Seabold when Casas had a single off him. He just said, hey, you got to tip your cap.
Right.
I mean, Casas worked at bat. He threw a pretty good curveball. He was right on it.
Isn't it amazing, though, these guys, whether the bright young raw pitchers like Groom or the old experienced veteran pitchers, that nobody's been able to figure out a way to get Casas out.
Even the days he's been quiet, he'll have 8 at-bats in a day. He'll go 1 for 2 with a single and like 5 walks.
Nobody's keeping track of this, I don't think. But if we saw his on-base percentage in the sim games that he's played since he's been here, I bet you it's close to 500.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he walks every day, at least twice sometimes. It's 1-1 on Grullon. Last of the second inning of this sim game. It's not seen a run yet. It's featuring the old versus new, the pitching matchup. Oh, big cut there. What do you think he was trying to do there, guys? Go to left?
Oh, yeah. He's definitely trying to pull that
That left
ball.
foot was pointed.
Yeah.
That's my recollection of watching Grullon play in the Phillies minor league system. He does not get cheated. Those are massive hacks. Jairo Munoz type cuts.
And that's a left-handed pitcher getting a fastball by a power hitter. Grullon just a bit late. As Dre Groom looking for his 3rd strikeout, delivers just off the plate. Good spot, though. Jay Groom last year, I mean, he was hurt, recovering after missing all of 18. He threw 4 innings, guys. 4.
Yeah.
GCL and Lowell, basically rehab innings. He's only thrown 66 in his career.
You know, you look at the timetable coming back from Tommy John, and some pitchers, it is 2 full years. You wonder about what Chris Sale will look like.
Groom looks pretty good. Swing and a miss. He took something off it. Grullon is out. And a good way to end the second inning. He has struck out 3. He has looked sharp.
Boy, he's using that changeup more today, isn't he, Mike?
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of fastball, curveball the first few times he pitched here, but he's mixing in some more pitches.
Good stuff. 2 innings in the book. It's presented by Bank of America. Join us on Facebook Live. We've got a lot of people tuning in. So Jeff Castor said that Ockhamy's home run cost Alex T a new windshield.
Did it really?
Yeah. That's on Facebook. So who pays for that? Ockamy? Give Ockamy the bill?
Yeah. Either that or we see Alex Tedesco working it off, mowing that berm.
Also, happy birthday to Jaron Duran. So he gets Sim City in the afternoon and hopefully able to do something fun tonight in quarantine. As Nick Pivetta will go 4 innings, we'll see Steven Gonzalez. It looks like him throwing right now.
It is. I was
Yeah.
going to say, we're already seeing him. If you look out in left field, this is one of the unique aspects of these sim games.
There's Gonzalez throwing.
Yeah, we'll get them to you
Left.
there. They warm up the pitchers that are multiple inning guys like they would before a start. They go out in left field and just start playing long toss with the catcher even while the game is going on. Welcome to Sim City.
They used to do that in the old exhibition games in the big leagues. So they'd run laps in the outfield. They'd even throw. But you can do whatever you want. Nick Pavetta's looked very sharp over 2 innings. He had not pitched in 3.5 weeks until his first outing here. But you can tell the difference today.
Yeah, I want to see what his command looks like this inning, because he did appear to lose it a little bit at the end of the second. Went walk, and then whatever happened in that weird at-bat where I think it was ball 2 and they just rolled it over.
Yep.
So maybe he was losing the release point just a tad.
Yeah, and you beat me to the punch, Josh. I was going to say what's impressed me so far in the first sort of inning and a half before he started losing control, it looked like last time out, since not pitching in 3.5 weeks, like you said, Mike, he was just trying to attack the strike zone and throw strikes and wasn't really worried about the quality of those strikes just yet. But he's been nibbling on the corners a little bit better today.
He's got a 1-1 count to Chatham. CJ Penn spent 20 games here last year. Mostly he was in Double-A, and that one almost hit him. And was also in the Red Sox taxi squad on that road trip previous to this homestand. Good experience. They were talking on the TV broadcast last night. It's fouled back. But Dahlbeck went up. I've heard of this happening before. Guys sometimes will go up at the end of the minor league season just to get some experience being around big leaguers, and he did that last year. And now this year he's there for good. Right now.
Yeah, just start to get a sense of everyone's routine, the clubhouse dynamic.
Chatham fouls it back. I worked for a Tigers affiliate back in the day, and they did that. When the season ended, they sent a lot of guys up to the big leagues just to hang out.
Yeah.
Just to get used to what it's like. Good for them, right?
Oh, they do that to coaches too, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times the AAA manager and the rest of his staff will go spend the last few weeks in September.
Good breaking ball, just missed. Yeah, and the trainers too, because of those 40-man rosters, they need some extra workers to help out. They have 2 on the infield, 2 in the outfield. That skips in there, and a walk to Chatham.
We saw a lot of that on Monday when Pivetta pitched, especially with the curveball. He was just spiking it. I think that's what that was too. There,
something up speed. Yeah. There's Arroyo stepping in.
And again, you don't know if that's rust. We're just trying to be too careful. Who knows?
Yeah, or they're simulating hitters, right? There's a fastball in tight. Yeah, good point. I mean, there are going to be situations here where they want Pivetta to throw a 3-2 breaking ball. They want to simulate what a big league game might be, fouled off, where they know, Paul Abbott talked about this, we know we can get guys out a certain way, but we can't keep doing that. So it's a simulation within the simulation, which is all part of Sim City. There's a ground ball chopped to third. I would say that's over the head of the third baseman.
Yeah, that took a nasty hop off the dirt down the line.
Yep, Bruce Krabs saying one base. Or he's saying out. I don't know what he's saying. He's pointing.
He definitely said
single.
Hit.
Yeah. Or he might be going. They might just call it somewhere in the middle. The truth is always halfway between. We'll go fielder's choice.
Well, they definitely sent CJ Chatham back into the dugout. And I don't know if that's because they're going to need a ghost runner because CJ has to bat again soon, or if they called a force.
That's what I was thinking. If he's hitting again.
And again, none of this really matters.
No.
But it's fun for us.
Here is Duran, the birthday boy. And that one's low, no advancement.
I think that was a hit. I'm with you guys. It was one of those old Baltimore chops. John McGraw would have been proud. Just chopped it straight off that hard dirt in front of the home plate.
Certainly wasn't a pretty one, but
right?
Yeah, one of those you go back at the end of the game, you look at the box score and tell everyone it was a rocket up the middle.
Yeah. Runner goes, throw it down to second base, and he's safe. Good throw though by Santana, yeah.
Couldn't have put that throw more on the money, but again, that base was stolen on Pivetta being slow to the plate.
Well, look, they want the base runners to be aggressive, and essentially saying, look, if it were a game situation, you notice that a pitcher is particularly slow to the plate, run on him. And that's what they've done, both Jeter Downs. And now it's Christian Arroyo steals a bag because they know that the time to home plate by the pitcher is a little bit too slow.
Yep. And now we see why Chatham got taken off second base so he could go play second base in the shift.
Duran, it's a chopper. This is Downs. And they get the out there, and sliding over to third is Arroyo.
So here's my question then. If there was a ghost runner on second when Arroyo stole second, did the ghost runner steal third?
And he did. He'd have to, right?
So then that means that a run just scored.
Who knows?
Yeah, right? I don't know if we ever had a ghost stolen base.
They should have, yeah, it would have been neat if the fielder went over there and acted like there was a throw. There's no one there. Here is Akami. And he hits a ground ball to Downs. Sounded like he broke the bat. And that will end the inning, it looks like. Or nope, they're saying one more. Bruce Krabs telling Jeter Downs, don't go anywhere. You got to stay out there. So that might confirm that that was a hit, since that would have been the second out. Yeah, so we'll give it a run, right, Josh? We'll make the rules.
Yeah, I think we can give it a run.
Yeah.
And we can say that the walk led to the run.
Yeah.
Why not? The pitching's been great the last couple of days. Let's put a run on the board.
Give credit to that big ghost runner stolen base. Very aggressive by ghost running C.J. Chatham.
Grullon will hit. He's hit twice in the home innings with a walk and a strikeout. Now facing Nick Pivetta. These guys have been teammates before. He gets a deep fly to right. And welcome to Sim City.
Wow.
Grullon with a bomb to right field. Pretty good power the other way.
I was watching Grullon in BP about an hour ago, and you know how guys normally their first round they just take some light, easy swings trying to go the other way, get a feel for it. He was putting balls to the warning track, not even trying, and that was
easy pop.
Look at this.
Pop.
I love this, guys. He just rounded the bases. He wanted to take his home run shot, even
Wow.
though everybody else was rolling over the inning and walking off the field. He circled him, and he deserved it.
Especially your old team just DFA'd you. You get picked up, and first day you're playing in Sim City, you go 400 feet opposite field. You kidding me?
Off a former teammate. Josh, that was easy power to right.
That's what we were talking about, is that pop that he has for that short, compact stature. Yeah. It jumps off his bat. He takes hard swings, and when he connects, they go.
Yeah, Trackman had it jumping off his bat at 103. Not quite 403, only 386 feet, but the opposite way for a righty.
Yeah.
That's very encouraging.
And when I saw him last year playing in Lehigh Valley, a lot of the home runs that he hit would go opposite field.
And I like that. I like when a guy with power goes to right, because that makes them tough to pitch. And that just flew over the head of Puello.
You made a great point right as that pitch was delivered. He had the book on Pivetta because he's been his catcher.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, guys can be teammates, but that doesn't mean they know each other all that well, right? Because let's say Jay Groom was traded to another organization, and then C.J. Chatham joined him. It's not like Groom faced Chatham all the time in a normal baseball season. But if you caught a guy, you know better than anybody what his stuff looks like.
Well, and you know this too. Now, he's had a limited amount of big league experience, but he's been in big league camp. So guarantee he's caught bullpens in February and March of probably every Philly.
Mm-hmm. And Pivetta had spent time in Lehigh Valley even as recently as last year. Anyway, that was a really cool moment.
It was. Part of it, hey, we saw a ghost runner score and Grullon in his debut in Sim City, homer and run the bases. We got to love it. Mike Antonellis, Josh Mauer, Tim Quidadamo. Bottom of the third inning, Jay Groom, expected to go 5, will face Tristan Casas. They form that wall on the right side, a strike to Casas. They shift. And Jaron Duran in the outfield. Steven Gonzalez is watching in lefts. Actually having fun out there. Casas takes it low. Now, he doubled off Groom last inning in a great battle. He worked it full and doubled off a breaking ball. but it was a great at bat.
Yeah, front door breaking pitch, 3-2, just caught a little bit too much at the plate.
Boy, he is stingy. He really is. Remember, Dice K never gave in to hitters?
Yeah.
Casas does not give in at all. I can't even think of a bad swing.
No, he's keyholing. He's looking for that one pitch in the right spot, and it's just a matter of if pitchers can pitch around him and get some strike calls.
Josh, you would think a young guy would chase once in a while.
Yeah, he did say that before he gets to 2 strikes on him, that he will try to do a little bit more damage. He'll take bigger cuts, and he wants that fastball back. That was right there, actually, that 2-0 pitch that he just got.
And for the way the game is being played right now in Major League Baseball, this is not what you see a lot of. That one's high. The guys are not working the counts like they used to. This is different.
Is that 3-1 it says, or 3-2?
I think it's 3-2.
So, yeah, another full count.
Yeah, he knows the count. He's telling everyone.
He's telling Groom, too.
Of course it's 3-2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Just give him 3 balls, 2 strikes before he stands into the box and save us all a lot of time.
Simulate his at-bat. Quick counts. There's a chopper for Arroyo. And Casas with a good at-bat, even though he grounds out. That's still a great at-bat.
And it was a better 3-2 pitch this time from Jay Groom.
Didn't throw him the breaking ball. Here is Cesar Puello. Puello had a good look at that home run by Grion. He'd be the one to tell us all how far that traveled. He had the great view of it. And he knew it was gone.
Yeah, he only gave it a step or two and then watched it go.
There's
That's
a
not
strike.
something you see often with a right-handed hitter. The right fielder basically turning and just watching it
Good
because he
point.
knows it's gone.
Yep, it's usually the lefts. The pitch in the dirt to Cesar. Jay Groom began his career in 16 in rookie ball. He's made 14 starts as his career high back in 17 with Lowell in Greenville. That fastball is right over. And really, when you look at his minor league stats, you just throw that all out the window. You watch what he's doing now. He has grown as a pitcher.
He's grown in a month.
Yeah.
Expected to go 5 innings.
One thing that has remained sort of the same for Jay Groom, we mentioned only 66 minor league innings thrown. He struck out 88 in that time.
That one's just inside.
But you would hope that would be the case for a guy who was the 12th overall pick in a draft facing rookie ball and low A hitters.
Yep.
You'd hope that Groom would have dominated, and he did at times before he got hurt. Injuries have been a big issue for him.
Trying to make the road back. His pitch is hit hard on the right side. And that's a base hit. I'm going to go with Bruce Crabb said nothing. That means base hit. Solid contact by Puello.
Yeah, I think they were overshifting, even though you only have 2 infielders on that side. Bruce Crabb is telling Jay Groom, look, we would have, against Puello, the way we've been defending, we would have had all 3 infielders on the left side, so there would have been no second baseman.
But Jay Groom saying no, you wouldn't have. You would have had, that would have been
I think we might have to send an email to manager Billy McMillan and see if we could get one of those cards up here.
Oh, the cards where they play everybody?
Yeah. That way we'd know with some certainty, hey, a third baseman would have been here. We would have been overshifted to the left.
I can tell you what the answer would be.
No.
No. No.
Absolutely not.
That's on a need-to-know basis.
Yep. And I, for one, do not need to know.
That's right. You'd like to know.
I would love to.
Well, I can tell you, in just watching Puello here for the last month and a half, they do overshift.
Yes.
Here's Jeter Downs, and it's outside.
Bruce Crabb would know better than anybody. He's in charge of those defensive alignments on the infield.
Jay Groom taken in that 2016 drafts. The 24th overall pick that year was Hudson Potts. How about that? Who is now here. 12 picks apart. It is inside and low. It's fun to go back and look at where guys were drafted.
Yeah.
I don't like when people will write an article and say, "Oh, this is what they should have drafted after 5 years." When that's easy. I mean,
Yeah, when
anyone
it's
can
easy
do
to
that.
say. But especially with baseball, you
Yeah.
never know. You absolutely never know.
baseball's a tough one.
Well, there are times you know more than others, though, TQ,
Right.
I would say.
Swing and a miss. Yeah, in the upper part of the drafts.
Yeah, there was that back-to-back drafts where the Washington Nationals had the number 1 pick and got Steven Strasburg, then Bryce Harper.
Right?
I've never lived through a bigger moment in minor league baseball when he was drafted. That was a major.
Which one? Strasburg? Yeah.
Because they at the time minor league games were not on TV, and they were forced to put that game on television. His first start, it's fouled back. But yeah, Harper too. But the Strasburg was unreal. The coverage he got, and Harper too.
Yep. Well, and think about it. Even though Harper ended up leaving the team, the Strasburg pick was really the first step in the Washington Nationals building an eventual World Series champion.
Certainly was.
Right.
I guess you could say Ryan Zimmerman was the real first step, and he was still there last fall.
This will scare you, Josh. Well, maybe not scare you. This one's through the wickets of Lucroy. And Puello down to second. Strasburg's been in the big leagues for 11 years. It's been 11 years.
Huh.
That's,
Where did that
Speechless.
time go?
I mean, that's
Wait a minute.
11? I would have never have imagined that.
Out for the season this year. The carpal tunnel issue, right?
Yeah.
And the Nationals have not lived up to the billing of a defending champion. They lose Rendon, they lose Strasburg. Scherzer hasn't quite been totally himself. And, yeah, well below 500.
Groom trying to get through this inning with a runner at second. Throws to a young pup in Downs who draws ball 4. So Downs with a good at bat. I've been impressed by him as well. I think maybe he now gets lost in the shuffle because of Casas here, but he's done a nice job. Joining a new organization. He hit that home run off Darwinson Hernandez.
There was a play, 2 plays that he made a couple of weeks ago here where he was looking like a Gold Glove middle infielder in one of the sim games. I agree with you, Mike. Since he's been here the whole time, since the moment that the taxi squad showed up in Pawtucket, I think we tend to have Jeter Downs get overshadowed now by the newer guys that show up. You pay more attention to the guys you hadn't seen before. But you're right. You maybe we're taking for granted the improvement that Jeter Downs has made.
Yeah, the future Red Sox are hoping is bright with a lot of these young guys they have here. Centeno swings and hits one foul down the left field line.
This is the 3rd time in as many innings that he's faced Groom, and let's see if he hits it back to Groom again. He's done it twice in a row.
Yeah, I mean, within a game like this, TQ, this is where hitters might have an advantage because they're getting at bats not too far in between,
Yeah.
time-wise.
Yep. And we're especially seeing these guys grind out a lot of pitches, too. So they're seeing everything, and they're getting right back up in the box.
Fouled. He went right after him. Nice view from high home. You just had it. I like that view, too.
How about this one?
Yep, keep going,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I think tomorrow I might zoom in a little bit more on that.
Always working on his craft.
You can always get better.
Any good artist to tell you. You're always working on your craftsmanship.
Groom gets that sign from Lucroy. What a pleasure that is for Jay Groom to have a veteran catcher throw down the signs. And that's low and away. And that's a little thing. And that is huge for Jay Groom. You've got Jonathan Lucroy catching for you. You feel pretty good. And Jonathan Lucroy is probably saying, hey, I feel good too. This guy's good.
Yeah.
Tristan Casas, when he talked to the media yesterday, went out of his way to talk about how Lucroy is one of the guys that he has sought out for advice, not only about how to play the game, but how to approach it.
He's been really a great leader, Jonathan Lucroy. Good breaking ball. You waved at it.
Nasty.
That'll get you out of a jam. Throw a hook.
That certainly will. 4 strikeouts for Jay Groom, as Josh said, gets out of that inning. So, our afternoon here, a Saturday in the Park, Sim City,
And there we are.
is presented is presented by Bank of America. Thank you, Dan. Dan's doing a great job, as always, running the high home. Mike Antonellis, Josh Maurer, Tim Quidadamo, Nick Pavetta, and Jay Groom today, and it's been fun, guys.
See, this is my free arm that you referenced.
Yeah.
When we came in there.
Slingless in Sim City.
Can move, range of motion improving.
So, Josh, we heard the other guy was in rough shape right after your arm.
Oh, you should have seen the other guy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, she called the ambulance for you, right?
Yeah, she did.
Thanks for joining us here today. Facebook, Periscope. We played 3 innings as we go to the top of the 4th. I'm virtually handing things over to Josh Maurer with the play-by-play.
Well, Nick Pavetta is going to go back to work. I'd say, again, a kind of mixed bag of results for Pavetta. He gave up 2 runs last inning. One was a ghost runner, and one was a home run by Davy Grullon. Command has been so-so for the big, tall right-hander out of British Columbia. One of the things that you notice immediately when you talk to Nick Pavetta is how polite, gentle-natured he is. And I think that is very true of so many Canadians.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Certainly is, yeah. He was great in our Zoom interview, and this is, I know he has not pitched a ton in the big leagues, but you would think for him, this is a pivotal moment in his professional career, guys. Not to be too dramatic, but he has a really good opportunity for a team that has a need for what he's doing. He's a starting pitcher.
27 years old. He's still on the relatively young side, or maybe even you would say this should be the prime of his career as a pitcher. And it just has not gone well for the last couple of years with Philadelphia.
Yeah, and if you think back to all the way back to spring training for the Red Sox, the question going into that year, assuming that Sale, Eddie, and Eovaldi were all going to be healthy, was who is the number 5 guy? And Pavetta will certainly be vying for that position next year, I think.
Jonathan Lucroy will lead it off. 2 infielders, 1 outfielder, just 3 defenders behind the big 6'5" righty. Strike 1 on the breaking ball. Arroyo is in right, Casas is playing first, and Jeter Downs is playing short. That's all we got at the moment. Gonsalves, who's going to be the other pitcher today, the 3rd, and the last one scheduled, he's moved into the bullpen. So his long toss in left field has come to an end, and I think Pavetta was probably thinking, oh, if you had stayed out in left field, you could have helped me maybe catch a fly ball.
There's a shot at Gonsalves. Not quite throwing yet, but he's all stretched out.
See, we could have used a left field. That's what I was talking about. I don't know that Gonsalves would have been able to get over there, but a normal left fielder would have, and they rule it an out. 1 away.
Good pitch by Pavetta to get in just enough. So we got a guy going 5, 4, and 3 today.
Here comes C.J. Chatham. Worked a walk against Pavetta last inning. Hope you're having a great start to your Labor Day weekend, wherever you might be tuned in. We appreciate it. This is Paw Sox production team bringing you Red Sox Taxi Squad baseball as we do day in, day out. And fortunate to do so. Josh Maurer with Mike Antonellis. Our director/commentator today is Tim Quidadamo. 0-1 on C.J. Chatham. Or 1-1, I should say, I think. And now he's got 2 strikes on him.
TQ is very good at doing multiple things at once.
That's very nice of you to say.
Your video game playing.
Oh, yeah. That, from an early age, I've been doing that.
Fouled back fastball to stay alive. Pavetta says that, again, he wants to go back to more of a fastball curveball mix. The Phillies had him throwing more secondary pitches, trying to mix and match. He thinks he wants to stick with his bread and butter. Low and away, 1-2.
Well, and I think the Red Sox are definitely open to that. It's a big reason they traded for him.
He's got the slider and the change. That is ripped into right center field. Puello will not get it. That's going to be a double for C.J. Chatham, who hit it hard the opposite way.
That's a big part of CJ's game. He does hit the ball well to right field, right center. That's a classic double. Saw a lot of those last year. that way.
Yeah, and he's not a guy that hits for a lot of power, being a middle infielder, but he does have a great approach. No leg kick at all, if you guys noticed. Just kind of a heel up, heel down, and he throws the barrel on it. Smoked that one to right center.
Man in scoring position, and with one away, Arroyo just a little late on the fastball, fouls it off. I asked Nick Pivetta what his impression of the Red Sox organization had always been from afar. As we've discussed, he'd always been a National League guy. And he said, you know what, when I grew up in British Columbia, everybody in Canada that followed baseball, they were a fan or at least a follower of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yep.
And so as a Blue Jays guy, he got to watch a lot of Red Sox games when he was growing up, Blue Jays and Red Sox being American League East rivals. So he said he always had a very large amount of respect. That's into center. Pretty good carry from Arroyo, but in front of the warning track it lands and deemed an out.
Well, Duran would have caught that, right?
Yeah, would have caught it. Arroyo's out number 2. Look at Chatham, he tagged.
Yeah.
Went over to third base.
Well, it has to be interesting for any player traded. I don't want to just, let's be honest. Yankees, Red Sox, they are historic franchises. There has to be an outside perception of them. Look at the Eric Kratz video, him now with the Yankees. He's been honored to be there. It was very interesting he talked about that.
I would assume if it isn't at least respect from afar for the Red Sox, those historic organizations, you have reverence for them.
Yeah. Well, the ballpark has a lot to do with it too, right? Fenway is a chapel to many players, even if they don't like that organization.
Yep. You might not like us, but you got to respect us. Man at third with 2 out for the birthday boy, and Duran fouls it back.
I think one thing that's really interesting when it comes to just kids growing up as fans and becoming players now, with social media and MLB TV, where you can get any team's games anywhere, you're starting to see it become less of a regional thing, being a fan of certain teams. And young guys just love the way players play, and they become fans. Like Nolan Arenado, you just love the way he plays, so you become a Rockies fan, even if you're living up in Maine or down in Florida, wherever it might be.
I've gone on the crusade about how I think Mike Trout needs to be more visible, more nationally televised than he has been.
Yep.
That one spikes in, and here comes the run. Chatham on a wild pitch comes in to score the 3rd run of the day against Nick Pivetta.
It's been the secondary stuff. That's been a little off.
A double, a deep fly ball moved him, and then he comes home on a wild one.
I think his best breaking ball he threw was that Ockamy swing and miss back in the 2nd.
I would agree with that. I think that may have been the slider.
And he had a great swing and miss on a changeup in his first inning of work as well. But since that Cass's double off a hanging curveball, he hasn't really been able to spot his off-speed stuff.
3-1 is the count on Jarren Duran. Off the end of the bat, dumping in center field. I will rule that an out. That'll end the inning. Or at least it's the 3rd out. Will it end the inning is the question, and they say yes. So run scores. Pivetta is done for the afternoon. He goes 4 half innings here today. Working with that catcher Juan Centeno. And I would say again, guys, another mixed bag when you're looking at the final results there for Mr. Pivetta.
Yeah, I think the secondary pitchers just didn't have great command of it today. I did think, though, overall he was a little bit better than he was a few days ago, which is what you want to see.
Yeah, and just to remind those watching, this is only the 2nd time he's pitched in about a month.
Jay Groom, meanwhile, has 2 more half innings on his schedule today. He's gone through 3 scoreless. He's pitched in and out of some trouble very effectively. As you can see, you're watching Red Sox Taxi Squad Baseball presented by Bank of America. On a Saturday from Sim City. That's our hashtag we ask you to use if you're joining the discussion on Twitter or Facebook. Josh Maurer now handling the play-by-play. Hello. Mike Antonellis is in the booth to my right. Tim Quintadama to my left.
Practice social distancing.
We do. And the young left-hander Groom, 22 years old. He just celebrated a birthday 2 weekends ago. In fact, he pitched at Fenway Park for the first time in a game. It was a Sim Game when they moved this alternate site to Fenway for an afternoon. And Groom got to pitch in that Sim Game at the Fens, and it was on his 22nd birthday.
How about that? What a great experience that was. Nice of the Red Sox to do that. I think he's looked really good today. He pitches with a lot of confidence, but for someone that has not had a lot of experience, and you got to throw the injury in there because it's limited his innings, he has real good feel of how to throw and work to some guys, these older hitters. Love his fastball command.
I said this last time he pitched. He is confident beyond his experience would indicate that you should be.
Same with Casas, yeah.
Yeah, he carries that air of, I know I'm good enough to get you out, even against these really veteran hitters that he's faced here at the alternate site. And I think you love that if you're the Red Sox.
Yeah. Guys with good stuff, that can help that confidence too, right? But you have to have that, though. I mean, there's definitely guys that have the stuff, but to your point, Josh, don't have that other confident part of them.
Akami is going to lead off. We've got 5 defenders. Christmas come early for J Group. 3 infielders, 2 outfielders. Casas, Arroyo, Chatham on the right side in that shift. Puello and Duran out in center, with Lucroy still catching Groom in a 4th inning of work. Billy McMillan, who coaches this taxi squad, he manages and is always standing at third base just about. He's been ensconced almost the entire game in a discussion. Nice breaking ball, 1-1. It's a curve from Jay Groom.
I'm trying to think who that is.
And I've been looking at him for the better part of an hour. Dan will get us a shot, I'm sure, in just a moment. Maybe we can get some viewer help.
I bet Jordan knows.
Jammed him, and a fly ball hit to Duran. A few steps in and to his left for the first out. He's got the shades on top of the cap to Sharon Duran. Oh, we got the window pane in the way. Ah, bummer. Well, I'll tell you, he's wearing a nice plaid-looking shirt, jeans, and talking to Billy McMillan. And out of view of our camera, Davey Grullon hit a home run against Nick Pivetta, the very first game he's played here in these simulation contests. Takes a strike on the breaking ball again from Groom. He's showing that curveball a lot more here later in the outing, the more he faces the hitters.
It's Eddie Romero Jr.
All right. Eddie Romero here. Red Sox have sent different player personnel folks throughout this alternate training site season.
Remember his dad played with the Red Sox?
Yeah. Good bloodlines. Two and 1 the count.
Eddie is the executive vice president / assistant GM. Big role. Good guy, too.
Grullon broke his bat on that on a pop-up. Lucroy does not have a play, and Davey Grullon's going to have to get some new lumber. So the Red Sox just put the claim in on Grullon. Again, that was just a couple of days ago. He comes over from the Philadelphia organization, and frankly, as a guy, I grew up in the Philadelphia area, and I follow that team more closely than most up here. I would tell you that I was pretty surprised that when they needed the 40-man spot, the Phillies used Grullon as a DFA.
Yeah, and there were rumors that Grullon was actually, the Red Sox were asking for him as part of the trade that did send Workman and Hembry over to Philly for Pivetta and Seabold. There were reports that the Red Sox wanted Davey Grullon too, but didn't end up becoming part of a trade, and here he is 5 days later anyway.
He takes ball 4. Close pitch. That's the second time he's gotten a free pass against Jay Groom this afternoon, and he's shown some patience.
Yeah, he's had good at bats. Of course, the home run to right. Now, Josh, who was it? Was it a pitcher that they used that spot for? I have to imagine. But I'm with you. And catching can be hard to find. Also, Real Muto's a free agent next year.
That is a very hot-button topic in the Philadelphia sports market, I can tell you.
Oh, I bet.
What's going to happen with Real Muto?
He is so good.
Bryce Harper will tell you, too. He's been in games and practices during summer camp, screaming up to the press box, re-sign him.
Ball one on Jeter Downs. One on, one out. This is the bottom of the fourth. Scheduled to go 6 innings today. One of the longer games of late here from Sim City.
Yeah, we had a 1.5 inning game earlier this week.
Another good curveball to Jeter Downs. Levels the count, ball on a strike. Phillies had designated Grullon, by the way, on Monday. That was after a couple of moves had been made. They needed the 40-man spots after they traded for David Phelps, reliever they had gotten from Milwaukee, and also Ranger Suarez was reinstated off the COVID list. So they needed the 2 40-man spots, and Grullon was a casualty of that, and they lost him. I don't think there was really any chance that he would have gone through all 29 teams on claims, and it was the Red Sox fortunate to get him.
Yeah, at that position, I'm with you.
Yeah. 42 bombs the last 2 years. He's still just 24 years old.
And he may actually have a future if he doesn't stick as a catcher. He could play a first base, maybe even try him in the outfield. 1-1. Change speeds on him. 1-2. No, that was I beg your pardon. That was a 1-2 pitch. I lost track of the count, and a strikeout for Groom.
That was a great changeup away from a right-handed hitter. You don't see Downs take a lot of swings like that. He had him way off balance.
Downs also doesn't see a lot of left-handed changeups either.
Yeah.
So for Groom to spot that low and away, dropping out of the zone, devastating changeup.
5 strikeouts for Jay Groom in the outing. Trying to get through 4 scoreless innings. Throws to Akami, strike 1 on a fastball. One of the things that I think we'll be talking quite a bit about over the next few weeks here is how much of the focus turns from having players be ready to help this year in Boston at the major league level versus how much this alternate site becomes for development, a focus on guys like Groom, Casas, 2 players who have just come from San Diego, Potts and Rosario. And how much of this is more of essentially a minor league site where you're looking at developing guys for the future, not the present?
I think it's turning into that. And I think we're going to see some guys get chances in Boston to audition and get some big league work.
Wouldn't it be fun if Akami got a chance? That's called a strike.
I'm really hoping for that. I think he's worked hard, and maybe Chatham. Christopher Smith today, one of the Red Sox beat writers for Mass Live, said maybe he's an option with Peraza struggling at second base. We'll see.
Yeah, I wonder if Peraza's knee is still bothering him from when he came out to pitch, a comebacker, much like Centeno to Groom. But Peraza, when he was pitching, took it right off the kneecap.
2-2 on Akami as that fastball was very high. Akami hit a couple of home runs in the past week, including the aforementioned one that you talked about being well over 400 feet against Nick Pivetta on Monday.
107 exit velocity. The hardest we've seen here in Sim City.
2-2. In the air to left. It's carrying pretty well, but it's going to stay in the yard and land well in front of the warning track for the 3rd out of the inning. It is 4 scoreless in the books for Jay Groom. Working against some good opposition, and he's kept them off of the scoreboard.
Really
Steven Gonsalves' turn. I'm sorry, Mike.
Really good outing for him.
And 1 more to go. Gonsalves is coming on in. There's Eddie Romero with Billy McMillan. We've got the shot.
Thank you, Dan.
Proof that we weren't just making it up. Gonsalves is going to come into pitch. That's a guy who actually was, after being claimed off of waivers by the Red Sox earlier in this summer, he was then waived himself and cleared. So removed from the 40-man but kept in the 60-person player pool. They wanted him to stick around here. And this will be the second time that Steven has pitched since he went through the waiver process. And in fact, when he pitched here the other day for a couple of scoreless innings, I thought it was the best he had looked.
Yeah, when he's got command, he's very good. That's just been the one if. I mean, and it's his fastball. But it says a lot about what the Red Sox feel about him. They brought him back. That doesn't always happen after you get DFA'd.
There have been others who have been designated here and cleared waivers, stayed in the organization, but ended up going home. Mike Shawaryn comes to mind. But he still gets to play baseball here for September in 2020. Coverage is presented by Bank of America. Josh and Mike, your normal duo. Jim Kane is off today, and so Tim Quidadamo is our third man in. Good to have TQ with us. Again, we thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good to be here.
Gonsalves, for a long time, was considered one of the top pitching prospects in the Twins organization. In fact, he made his debut with Minnesota in the big leagues. Injury problems kind of curtailed his career with that org last year, and so here he finds himself trying to make it back onto the Boston 40-man roster. Dealing with Arroyo, who's up there hacking, strike one. Picture perfect afternoon. You couldn't draw up better weather.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nothing in two. Arroyo goes to one hand on the bat on the follow through. It is about 75 degrees. Just a few wispy clouds overhead. There's no humidity.
You take this 12 months.
You would. You know what this feels like? I think this is San Diego every day.
Oh.
Got him on 3 pitches. 3 hard ones from Gonsalves, and he puts away Arroyo.
Yeah, and that fastball, it plays when he's got command of it. No matter left-handed hitter, right-handed hitter.
Maybe it's the weather for Gonsalves. He was drafted out of Cathedral Catholic High School in San Diego.
Now he'll be challenged. It's Tristan Casas to the hill, to the box, facing Gonsalves on that hill. There's a curveball from him. One of the things with Gonsalves has, as you said, been command, and not only just the fastball, but all of his pitches, Mike. At times over the course of his career, he'll go for an inning and just lose it.
Yeah.
1-1.
Good curveball there.
Doubled up on that pitch.
Yeah.
But too many walks throughout the course of his minor league tenure in the Twins organization. Sometimes, though, you get new organization, new coaches, they can square that away.
Yep.
Spiked it in to make it 2-1.
Yeah, and the mindset, too, you just have a fresh start. It's just the one thing that you know keeps coaches up at night. They'll see flashes of dominance, and then the next outing, a particular player can't get anyone out. It's frustrating.
Tristan Casas in the box, and he chased a high fastball, 2-2.
That's a rare chase.
Yeah, he'll do it a little bit, and he even admitted with fewer than 2 strikes, he's a little more apt to be a free swinger. Now watch how much he'll crouch, choke up on the bat even further, and stays alive.
We really have not seen him. If you maybe count on your hand, one hand. But left on left, those are tough matchups.
He's been seeing a lot of it today, has Casas, with Groom pitching. Now Gonsalves.
That's good for his development.
Yeah.
He doubled off Jay Groom earlier on a 3-2 pitch. 2-2 against Gonsalves, whom he sees for the first time. Got him. Wow, that's how good that fastball from Steven Gonsalves is. He threw it by Casas.
Yeah, that's all he did. Here it is. He went right after him.
Yep. Found that hole right under the hands.
Good old country fastball, right?
Couple of strikeouts, too, for Steven, the left-hander.
Especially if you're getting swings and misses with your fastball against guys like Casas, that's a fastball that can play.
Well, let's see what he can do against the veteran Lucroy. Curveball for a strike.
A lot of first pitch off speed stuff.
They say pitching backwards, right?
Yeah. But get me over curveball.
And this is what he looked like earlier in the week, too. I'm sorry, TQ. In that first outing after clearing waivers, he attacked hitters like this and was very successful. This is a second straight very encouraging appearance. And look, the Red Sox need pitching. We know that. Even though this guy was just DFA'd, it would not be a total shock that if he pitches well like this for another time or two, maybe you give him another look.
Why not?
Ball 1.
I think the fact he's going 3 innings might give you that hint. Stretch him out, the bulk guy as they call it.
5 pitchers this week who have gone up from the alternate site to the big leagues. Marcus Walden, Andrew Triggs, Robinson Layer, Mike Kickham, and yesterday Matt Hall. Still 1-2 on Lucroy. Those 5 were not replaced here. So we have a dearth of pitching. A lot more position players of late as that pendulum has swung.
And next week, the Red Sox will have another doubleheader, so they'll add 29 for that one day.
2-2. Yeah, and the Red Sox, yesterday in the game that they won, the second game of that doubleheader, they got a good start from Chris Mazza, then used Robinson Layer as the setup man.
Yeah.
The penultimate inning of that game to get the ball to Matt Barnes. Layer, he walked the tightrope, but he ended up keeping the lead.
It seems like he always is.
Into right, there is no right fielder, but it would have been caught had there been. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Steven Gonsalves. Good start for him in his work today. Get a 5th and final frame, meanwhile, coming up from Jay Groom. This will be the bottom of the 5th inning here from Pawtucket. Let's take a moment and hear these words from our great presenting partner, Bank of America.
We are entering a new chapter in our lives. Our confidence is shaken, cracked. We didn't ask for it, but we are rising to meet it. And how far we've come isn't even close to how far we can go. There's a crack in everything for a reason. How else can the light get in? Tomorrow starts today.
Thank you to B of A, Bank of America, for presenting our live coverage of the Red Sox taxi squad. Jay Groom has 5 strikeouts in 4 scoreless innings, and he'll try to finish his day on a very positive note. Last inning that he's scheduled to be out on the hill.
He's given up a double to Casas, a single to Puello. He's had a few walks, but overall, this left-hander is improving. You have to use this. It is an alternate site. We know that. For certain guys, though, it's about developing and getting better. That's the role for Jay Groom here at this alternate site. We know he's not going to Boston, so you want to see him improve, and he is.
We were just talking about Layer. Think about this. 5 days ago, Robinson Layer was one of the guys here, not even on the 40-man. Just another option that's working out at the alternate site, trying to get better, as you say, Mike. And all of a sudden, Layer gets the call after the trade deadline. And as we just talked about, very quickly worked himself into a role that Ron Renicky used him as a setup man to try to finish off a win.
Yeah, and you know what? You got to have adversity in professional, whether it's in A-ball, big leagues. Yesterday, it's not going to be pretty all the time. Guys are going to go up there. He threw 40 pitches, but he could have wrecked that game. One run, hey, he struck out 2, got out of it, they won the game. And that's good for his development.
Totally. Think about that. He's appeared 3 times now since going up to the big leagues for the first time in his career. He was used as a middle inning guy, then he was an opener, and then last night he was a late inning setup man.
Yeah.
It's classic Rays right there, right?
Very different scenarios for Layer. He's getting to see it all.
I like him, man. He's got a good arm. Dennis Eckersley was talking about it. Sometimes you don't know where it's going, but what a good story, though. Good
Great
for him.
Story. Who will it be today for Boston? We'll find out later on tonight as they play Game 4 of a 5-game series against those hot Toronto Blue Jays. All right, Groom to face Pareda. Then it looks like C.J. Chatham will go next.
Ron Renicky is a big fan of the 7-inning doubleheaders. He talked after Game 1 yesterday on Zoom. I watched it. He wants that to stick next year. I was surprised he was so open about that. But he said that rule should stay. Doubt it will with...
I was going to say, if you go back to the day-night doubleheaders, I don't think they'd make each game 7. Pareda takes that curveball. 1-0.
Everyone's saying why. Well, think about it.
Yes.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
So you don't have to worry about guys buying hot dogs and beers here in the no-fan 2020 season. Another good pitch. And again, you're seeing so much of the secondary stuff here in the latter stages of his outing. Curveball, changeup. It's a Pareda.
Yeah, great mix to start him off.
Now fastball, 2-1. We're not keeping a pitch count up here. If we were, I'd say it's up in the 70s. Sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll second that.
Dana says no.
Well, he's got to be the contrarian. On the ground, Jeter downs. It goes underneath his backhanded glove. I think you're going to have to rule that a base runner and an error.
Yep.
Had there been no infielder, I'm sure Bruce Crabb would have awarded an out there to Groom. But there was an infielder, and so you got to make the play.
I could see the way Bruce Crabb kind of clapped his hands. He wanted Jeter to make that play.
Billy McMillan also spoke with the media yesterday after Tristan Casas did, and he did point out how well that Bruce Crabb, the infield defense guru, and Jeter Downs have worked together since they first started in spring training 1. He said the improvement has been manyfold for Downs, so unfortunate there. Chatham into right. Shallow, and in comes Pollo for the first out. One pitch out, and Jay Groom will certainly like that. Jaron Duran and then Casas, maybe the final two batters that Mr. Groom will face here on this Saturday.
Josh, you were talking earlier how fortunate we are to do these games. I think it's also a great thank you to Bill Wanless and everyone behind the scenes setting up those Zoom interviews, because I've really enjoyed those. That's been a great thing that we've been able to do. I know TQ's helps with that too, putting that together.
Yeah. Shout out to Joe Jacobs, Alex
Joe.
Richardson, and Joe Bradley too.
Thank you. Yeah.
From
It's helpful for us.
Oh, absolutely. All the way from taking player temperatures as they're walking in, and they'll usually just throw a, hey, you mind hopping on a Zoom call as they're taking someone's temperature? And shout out to all the players we've had, too. We've had a wide variety of players who have been willing to do it. Players, managers, coaches, everybody has been very willing and open to do it.
0-1 after Duran took a big hack. 1 on, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th.
We don't get that interaction this year around the cage, so it's been nice.
I was going to say that the point is, especially for guys like us who are used to talking to players in the clubhouse, on the bus,
Yeah.
and an opportunity to hear how things are going in person. We don't have that anymore. The access is not there, and it's understandable why. Oh, boy, was he tied up in knots there. It's 0-2. A couple of fastballs that Jay Groom gets by Jaron Duran.
Yeah. A little cut action in there, too. I miss that part, Josh. That's probably one of the best parts of our day. Interaction with the guys, the coaches.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's one of my favorite parts of the job, period. Getting to know these guys. Forming relationships. 2-strike pitch. Just off the plate away.
But that's a good spot. See where he went in and then went away to Duran. Fun little matchup here.
I was talking about earlier how Casas versus Groom is perhaps part of the future of the Boston Red Sox. Jaron Duran could raise his hand and say, how about me? And I would say absolutely. Hello.
Look out.
Hey, you think about it, Josh. Casas, Duran, Downs, Groom,
Mata.
Somebody made a good point. I mean, this farm system can change people's opinions of it if 2 or 3 of those guys go up there and impact players.
Well, how about the trade acquisitions just in the last
Great
couple of
point.
weeks?
Yep.
Connor Siebold is looking like I think he could be a major league starting pitcher. We've seen him pitch twice in sim games very effectively. 4 innings yesterday.
And Billy raved about him.
Yeah. If he can control that changeup as well as he did yesterday, I think he could be a fixture in a starting rotation.
Well, from 0-2 to 3-2, the count fills up on Jaron Duran. Yeah, Siebold has been good in his 2 appearances. We saw Pavetta today. Better than the first time, I would say. And then also, it's worth pointing out, if you haven't heard the news, the 2 Mitch Moreland returnees, Potts and Rosario, are here. They're here. They're not playing yet in sim games. And he walked them. That looked to me the first time all day that Jay Groom maybe tried to overthrow fastballs. He did it twice.
100%.
Yeah, and
Just
that
yanked
looks
it.
like it's going to be it for Groom today. So maybe he tried to put a little something extra on it to blow it by Duran. Held on a little too long for ball 4.
Yeah, you hope that that doesn't leave too much of a sour taste in Jay's mouth, because the 22-year-old otherwise was really terrific for 4 1/3 scoreless innings.
Yeah, I think what we've heard from him in his Zoom press conference, he's such a competitor that I think he might actually hold on to that until his next outing here. But he's just going to try to use it as motivation to be even better the next time.
Gonzalez is going to go back to work. What we have remaining on the schedule that we were given is 2 more half innings from this left-hander, which I would think would mean he's going to pitch a half inning, then we're going to simulate a between inning. He'll sit in the dugout for 3 or 4 minutes and come back out and pitch again. That's how they've handled these situations in the past.
Yep, they just go to the dugout, hang out. So we talked about some of the prospects that could be an impact. How about some of the free agents they brought in? Jairo Munoz right off the bat. He's played 2 years with the Cardinals. Maybe they found something there with a utility guy. Robinson Layer, and who knows who else. I think that you can tend, if you live in the moment, to say it's doomsday, but you can change quickly. You hit on a couple guys, it can change. And also the Red Sox have had a ton of injuries with their starting pitchers. We cannot forget about that.
February feels like such a long time ago, but it was only February, 6 months ago, that Chaim Bloom made his first big move as the Red Sox GM when he traded Mookie Betts, and he got Jeter Downs, who we've seen here. Of course, Verdugo has been arguably the best hitter that the Red Sox have had.
Absolutely.
Connor Wong, who's currently the taxi squad catcher at Fenway this weekend. We've seen him be impressive here in Pawtucket.
Yeah, and we've heard Billy McMillan and Bruce Krabby both are very high on Connor Wong, and he seems to be, out of the 3 names we got back for Betts, he seems to be the one that people forget about the most.
Davey Grullon gets a crack here against Gonzalez, who was very effective in his first inning. There's strike 1 with a fastball. He struck out the first 2 men he faced. Quick and easy for him, and now gets 2 more. It's interesting, when you see a guy who swings as hard as Grullon does, that's been on display in his first game. But he also is more patient than you would expect.
Doesn't seem like that would equal that, right?
Right, I guess that's my point. I'm glad you're here, Mike. You're good at summarizing my ramblings.
It's not balanced. You're right, though. Him and Christian Vasquez do look a lot alike. They're built. Oof.
There's that big cut. See, that's what I'm talking about. 1 and 2.
You're right about Verdugo. I love watching him play. There's a lot more to him, though. He can hit, but he brings a lot. And man, he's going to be a fan favorite at Fenway.
He's just always going 100%.
And the way he hits lefties.
3 and 2 is the count. I left the ball out there, so it's filled up. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Grullon. Ball 4. Another walk. He's walked 3 times.
Yeah.
And hit a home run.
Have a day.
Did he even unpack his suitcase yet? I don't know.
Nope.
Well, he's getting to meet Tristan Casas. They've had quite a few conversations when Casas plays first, and Grullon has been the base runner after all those walks. It's one way to introduce yourself to the new teammate. Christian Arroyo, busy man at the plate today. Ball 1 from Gonzalez.
Yeah, he's hit a lot. And just think of all the new players that Chaim Bloom has brought in. Even since this all started, guys.
Yeah.
And it's not just pitching. It's not. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yep.
Ball and a strike on Arroyo, formerly a huge prospect for the Giants. They use the term kick the tires a lot when you're talking about trying to pick up a guy, a bargain basement pickup perhaps, and that's I think what you would say about Arroyo. They got him off of waivers, and then the Red Sox they passed him through waivers. He cleared after being designated, so you got him stashed away here, but a guy who's got big league talent, obviously.
Yeah. career .293 minor league hitter, and the defense we know is very good.
Got him swinging. Fastball blew him away. 3 strikeouts for Gonzalez. That time, Christian Arroyo expanded the zone.
Gonzalez looks like he has got new life since coming back here. He has looked really sharp. The guys, they're not getting good swings on his fastball at all, regardless of the count.
Doesn't matter righty or lefty either. I think one interesting thing to note, just to build off of what you guys were talking about with all the new names that are coming in here, a lot of them have sort of this recurring theme. Christian Arroyo, 25 years old. He's a young guy. He was drafted out of high school down in Brooksville, Florida. Got DFA'd. He's been in the minors since 2013. Gets DFA'd, and the Red Sox pick him up to get a second chance. Steven Gonsalves, drafted out of high school from San Diego. Only 26 years old. He's been in the minors since 2013. Gets DFA'd, given a second chance here in Boston. And the same is true with Davy Grullon, who was 17 years old when he got signed as a free agent. Was in the minor leagues in 2013, gets DFA'd, and now he's being brought here, given a second chance. Only 24 years old is Grullon.
Yeah, those are the kind of guys you like to take a chance on, right?
Why not?
Talent, young, maybe a new look, new organization, and that has something start clicking. Akami takes the ball.
Change of scenery, guys. You never know.
Well, I also think that this organization, there's opportunity for a player. Hey, I now see there's a path for me.
Right.
Maybe I need to do this more. I want to get up there. We talked about it, Josh. If you're a pitcher now, you have a good feeling you could be pitching in Boston with just performance, injuries, and doubleheaders, and a lot of other factors.
No question about it. And that has to light a fire under anybody that's been playing here at the alternate site. Another full count for Akami. What do you know? Got him swinging.
Fastball again.
And Akami does not chase out of the zone all that often, but he did, just like Arroyo. On a high, hard fastball. Hey, he had done that on the previous hitter. He struck out 4 batters here in his 2 innings.
That thing exploded right near the body of Akami.
Yeah.
That late movement, but you're right, out of the zone. I got to imagine Gonzalez is a little deceptive as well.
He must be.
Jonathan Lucroy. So you had the walk, but now 2 strikeouts. 2 out as Lucroy takes ball 1. This is the 6th inning. And we are thinking that Gonzalez is going to pitch both the top and the bottom of it.
Could be the strikeout leader today amongst the pitchers, right? We wouldn't have thought that.
Groom had 5, and he went 4 1/3 innings. Got 1 out in his final inning of work before they rolled it over. Nick Pivetta went 4 innings today, or at least he was on the mound for 4. He didn't get the full 12 outs. He gave up 3 runs. In fact, those are the only 3 runs that we've seen in this sim game. You can see he was frustrated there. It looks like 2 pitches in a row. There was a mechanical issue there for Big Gonzalez.
Yeah, before that last pitch, too, he stepped off, was talking to both Pareda and Lucroy about sort of his release point.
There he corrected it.
Yep.
Right down Broadway.
3-1.
He's been spotting that high fastball so well today. He's been going inside under the hands to lefties. We just saw it against Akami. Saw it earlier against Casas. And there he's attacking Lucroy with 1.
3-2. So now let's see if they send the runner. In a normal game, they would. 3-2, 2 out. It is Grullon. He is not fast. I don't need to be a baseball scout to look and tell you that Davy Grullon is not fleet of foot. Looks like he will be in motion. You can't see it in your shot here, but Casas, there you go. Casas backed off away. He had been holding him on. And there he goes on strike 3 swinging. Another fastball, 3 in a row for Gonzalez. 6 outs he has recorded, and 5 of them via the K. He'll get to take a little break, guys. That was really good stuff.
Outstanding. We've seen some dominant innings. One of the best couple of innings. One of the inning we saw here was with Seth Blair, but Gonzalez looks like he has sorted through some mechanical things, and the fastball has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think, speaking of Seth Blair, that's a guy who can touch triple digits. What's really been impressive about Gonzalez getting all these swings and misses with his fastball is he's sitting about 95 with his four-seamer. He's throwing a 91 to 93 mile an hour cutter too. That's going to get in on the hands of a righty, but the four-seam fastball has been electric today.
TQ, this is an interesting development. This will be the 6th time today that Jay Groom comes onto the mound. You can see from afar that is Groom.
Yep.
And so they have adjusted the plan a little bit. Now, he did not get the full 3 outs in his 5th inning.
Right, and you said you hope that doesn't leave a bad taste in his mouth. He's a competitor. Maybe he went back into the dugout and said, hey, I want one more.
Although I laugh because, in fairness, I don't know that it could work that way. I'm not sure they would be able to adjust plans.
Wonder if Gonzalez will pitch another inning. He is scheduled to go 3.
Yeah, I was thinking that this would just be the break where they'd wait for 4 or 5 minutes, but they won't have to simulate another half inning. They'll actually have one. There's Groom. Probably up around 80 pitches or so.
Yeah, faced 3 batters in the 5th, so that could be a reason for it. Pitch count not that high.
Fun to see.
Yeah. This has been fun pitching to watch today.
Really has. Fun day here from Pawtucket. This is the Red Sox alternate training site. A weird 2020 season where you have every team, all 30 Major League clubs have an alternate site where they've got a player pool. These players are getting ready, staying in shape, doing some development, and if needed, the big league team can call them up.
And Josh, I think you and I and Jim are the only broadcasters doing this and have been a waiter this summer and have directed.
Well, we've waited tables on that field in which these taxi squad players are. Not this weekend for dining on the diamond.
Well, TQ as well. TQ has been a waiter, so.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I was feeling bad over here being left out.
I forgot you've done 2 shifts, right?
Right, yeah. I'm usually up in the press box working on some of the video board messages we put up for folks who are dining with us.
Check out the website. As Casas tried to hold up, ball hits his bat. He will not even run on a ground out. 1-3.
He was fooled. First pitch.
Threw him a changeup.
Yep.
Casas was owning just about everybody, including Groom, earlier here in the outing.
Yep.
But in the last, 3 in a row times, I think that Groom has gotten him out.
Yep.
The adjustments within the game.
Dan's, we didn't include Dan with our, I said broadcasting and waiting tables. Dan is not broadcasted.
That's right.
Oh, he's running the camera.
Cam Opping is not broadcasting, my friend. You are part of the broadcast for sure.
Johnny Pareda took ball 1. So into a 6th inning, Jay Groom working and still looking sharp. That ball is cracked, though, to center. Duran with a jump on it back in front of the track for the 2nd out. Might have been the hardest piece of contact all afternoon off of Groom, and that is how his day will end. They let him get the 2 outs.
Yeah, I think that obviously was a pitch limit. Good for him. Good job by Groom. Fun to watch.
Well, Mike, that'll make the final line that I know you keep track of very fastidiously. You did make the final line look a little cleaner. 5.0 innings. He got, in the end, 15 outs.
Had 4 walks, only gave up 2 hits, 5 strikeouts.
2 outings in a row. This goes back to last Sunday when Groom was very, very good in a sim game that was played without any defenders, you may remember. That was Sunday last weekend. Now today, his next outing, again, goes essentially 5 innings. And I think, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's given up a run in any of those 10 innings.
He's not. And it's not easy facing the same hitters, what he's doing. And I think you made a good point about Casas. He changed his plan with him, with Casas. And those were fun battles. I think, though, the unsung pitcher today would be Steven Gonzalez.
Yeah, 5 strikeouts and 2 innings of work.
And we're going to get to see some more of him, TQ.
That's right. looks like they're just taking a little bit of a break since Groom only saw 2 hitters. Got a first pitch ground out to Casas, and then, second or third pitch fly out to center. So they're giving him a little more time to rest before Gonsalves comes out there for his 3rd inning of work. But he's looked great so far.
Glad to be with you folks from the press box. We do this socially distant to comply with all regulations. Mike is in the first booth.
Yep.
This would normally be our television booth that you're in.
I was in here with you last year, right?
Yeah, I'm in the visiting radio booth. I'm in the middle one.
Yep.
And then that's the director's chair.
That's right. The TV broadcast room, which honestly is not much bigger than the radio or TV booths.
And we do have masks. I've got mine. In fact, I've got my Paw Sox mask.
Yep. On sale. You still have any left? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty.
Stocked up.
Going fast, though.
Paws and socks. Paws and socks. Yeah. All right, so Gonsalves is back on the hill as we get ready for our final half inning of the day. It's actually a top of the 7th, if you would. We've had 3 runs, all against Pavetta, actually. The highlight of the day offensively was a home run by the newcomer, Davy Grullon. Gonsalves has struck out 5 of the 6 outs that he's recorded. Let's see what he does here in his final time around.
This is why the Red Sox signed him. I mean, when they were out scouting him, you watch today, his command, he has 1 walk, but other than that, he's throwing everything for strikes, and he's getting a ton of late swings.
And it looks like, Mike, he's going to have a full infield and a vacant outfield. He's got Arroyo at 3rd, Downs at short, Chatham 2nd, Akami 1st. There have been very few, if any, half innings over the last week where we've had 4 infielders available. Pareda is catching, and Grullon is hitting.
Good matchup here, these two.
Yeah, Grullon has had a great day with the home run, obviously, but he's been working out at bats and has walked a handful of times, too.
3 to be exact. Ball 1 misses outside. Bruce Crabb demonstrably says so. Our umpire behind the pitcher's mound. Something that I've gotten used to here in a month and a half in these sim games, where normally you look behind the catcher to see what the umpire calls. Now immediately our eyes go directly towards second base. 1-1.
It's so weird to see another team.
Who knows when we will.
Yeah.
Another game for you tomorrow. We'll have the coverage. We presume same time. There's the free swinging Grullon to fall behind to 1-2, and it would be 1 o'clock theoretically. Although we find out sometime an hour or 2 after the sim game ends every day. We look in our inboxes to find out when they've scheduled the start time of the next day. I'm curious to see when Brian Mata pitches again. Just off the plate, 2-2. Mata has not pitched since that Sunday game when he went up against Groom. I talked about how well Groom pitched that day. Mata was throwing into a 5th inning when he had that awful-looking hamstring cramp. And he went down like he was hit by a ton of bricks.
Yeah, ended up getting helped off the field, but asked me for photos of him pitching later that night.
Look at this. Strike 3 called. He went to a breaking pitch and froze Davy Grullon.
Yeah, and he took so much off it, too. That was a slow curve. And Mata is okay, and that could have been so much worse.
Right.
I mean, we had no idea.
Mike, you got an opportunity to see him today.
Yeah, he said he's good.
That's good news.
I don't know about you guys. My first reaction after seeing him go down that quickly, like you said, Josh, a ton of bricks, I was thinking Achilles. We just saw it with Soroka in Atlanta earlier this year.
That was my thought. The way he reacted, the amount of pain, it looked like he was in. You couldn't tell if it was hamstring, quad, or thankfully not Achilles.
Right.
Gonsalves still showing that you still have to be aware in the box as he spikes one in past Duran. And now he follows that up with a strike, 1-1.
He's throwing all of his pitches for strikes.
Yeah.
He's commanding all of them.
It's like he's a new man ever since the 2-week layoff when he was designated for assignment. 6 strikeouts of 7 outs recorded today. You know, we haven't seen Jarren Duran do much offensively the last couple of days. Just started thinking about that. He's seen some good, tough pitching, though.
He certainly has.
2-1 on him here. Big swing, 2-2. The last batter of the day, perhaps, in the on-deck circle, and we're going to end it with a bang. It'll be Tristan Casas.
Good planning.
Gonzalez did strike out Casas just a little while ago. We'll get another crack at him. 2-2. And it'll be a full count on Duran as Gonzalez looks for strikeout number 7. Now, what will he throw? I would assume fastball, guys. That's been the put-away pitch.
I would have thought in 2-2 he would have thrown a fastball. He's had good fastballs to left-handed hitters up and in.
Here comes the payoff. Fastball indeed. Do it again. We've been playing for almost 2 hours here today. It's a rare time we've gone into a 7th inning. Not all of the first 6 were full innings, but that's par for the course. You don't have to get 3 outs here. Sometimes you don't have to get any. Sometimes you get 4 or 5. And he walked him. Duran has taken ball 4, so it was a nice, patient plate appearance. 1 on, 1 out. It looks like we will have at least 2 more batters. Casas will come up, and then Lucroy has moved out into the on-deck circle. So I don't know, maybe Mata tomorrow. That would be exactly 1 week after his last appearance. Tanner Houck is also lined up to pitch soon. Last time that Houck pitched, he struck out 9 batters in 5 innings.
Yeah, his best outing here at Sim City.
Curveball inside on Casas.
This is also a 3rd inning, too, for Gonzalez as well, so might be nearing out of bullets.
Well, this is not the guy you want to face if you're starting to feel like your chamber's getting empty, huh?
No.
Pretty good lead at first for Duran. Strike called on a fastball. 1-1.
Yeah, let's throw Houck in that mix, too. We talked about potential guys with Boston down the road.
No doubt. He's another guy. He's been here the whole time. You know, we were talking about that with Jeter Downs. The guys who have been here since the middle of July, you tend to forget about. Get lost in the shuffle with all the new names. 1-2 on Casas.
See, that's what Casas probably did not see a lot in A-ball. He just whipped the fastball by him, and then that hook.
Yeah.
Slow hook.
Left on left.
I watch him crouch lower. He says that helps him with 2 strikes. See the pitch, and he fouls it off. He was very mechanical in his discussion about his approach on the plate yesterday when he talked with the media. He was detailed, spoke about the adjustments that he makes in the middle of an at-bat when he gets 2 strikes on him and the reasons why he does so. It was actually very interesting. It was kind of like listening to Ted Williams, you could think about talking about hitting.
He's choking up right there. He's such a smart hitter, especially for a kid who can't even buy a beer yet.
He certainly has a plan, and we talk about that a lot. What's the plan with this hitter? Casas has a Tristan Casas plan that he has adopted, that he worked on back in high school, and has brought it to the professional ranks.
2-2. Not getting the true overshift because they want to be able to turn a double play on the infield. The pitch. 3-2. And what do you know?
Yep.
Surprise, surprise.
Right.
Yeah, and why does this happen? It's the respects that Casas gets from Gonzalez. He's seen pitches out of the zone. He's not chased. He's put himself in the full count.
How about these last 2 at-bats? Duran came from behind in the count to walk. Casas has worked her full. Bet you Duran will be running too. No, he doesn't. Outside, he walked him. Oh, indeed.
Wow.
How many guys who are 20 years old take that pitch 3-2?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the guy you just mentioned there, Ted Williams, would have, right? He knew an inch off the plate. But you know what? That was a really good pitch by Gonzalez.
Yeah.
He just told Casas that was an inch outside, mocking him a little bit.
He's
See?
still doing it, yep. You didn't see that on your screen, but Gonzalez made that little 2-finger pinch motion over towards Tristan Casas.
Yeah, great pitch, but the take, to your point, Josh.
And I'm not comparing Tristan Casas to Ted Williams, by the way. I just was using that as an example of how much he loved to talk about hitting and the mechanics of it. Lucroy. He's going to be our final batter of the day, and he took the curveball. Because this is the final hitter, unless it's a double play, Gonzalez will not have an opportunity to get 3 outs. He had a strikeout, then a pair of walks. 1-1. Check Paw Sox Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. We'll get you an update, an alert, as soon as we go live for the broadcast on Sunday afternoon. I would presume 1 o'clock-ish. I don't think any later. Could be earlier. And many of you we know have been watching these games after the fact. The archives post right away as soon as we finish, and so that's the easy way to do it. There go the runners. The runner for third. Back pick. Got him. No, safe. Wow, that's Casas, who had started to follow Duran. He was moving towards second. And then the smart throw there by Pareda. I thought he got him.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I did too. I thought he was out. Big grin, though, by Ackerman.
Well, the throw certainly had him beaten. It's possible, we can't see from up here, that the tag was missed.
Yeah, I think Akami was somewhat fooled on that, too, thinking Casas was just going to second. I don't think he thought there would be a throw to first base from Pareda.
Called third strike on Lucroy, and that is another punch-out for Steven Gonzalez. Wow, that gives him 7. And that is how we're going to end things today.
Wow, good outing.
He went 8 outs, 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, I know he had a couple walks. I thought he labored a bit in that last inning, maybe running out of gas, but wow, 7 Ks.
And if I'm not mistaken, 6 of those on fastballs.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Just the one curveball got Grullon earlier in this inning.
Ackerman and Bruce Crabb, you can see it, it's a wide shot there. But Ackerman and Bruce Crabb were just having a nice little joke about that call at first base on the back pick. So things come to an end here from Sim City. This was about a 2-hour, 6.5-inning sim game, as long as we've had in quite a while. 3 runs scored. Actually, all of them came against Nick Pivetta. Jay Groom ends up with 5 scoreless innings for another outing. He was really the star, I thought, Mike. What'd you think?
Yeah, no, I liked how he pitched today. I thought he played everything off his fastball. He did have some walks. He battled some hitters when he had to face them again. I thought he was great. The debut of Davey Grullon was another story here in Gonzalez. TQ, what do you think?
Yeah, I think all the pitchers looked great. Pivetta obviously gave up the home run to Grullon, but I mean, the first 2 innings that Pivetta was out there, he pitched much better than he did in his first outing, where he gave up home runs back-to-back to Ackerman and Lucroy. He had much better control of his fastball, and off-speed pitches weren't exactly getting left right over the middle of the plate like his first outing. And Mike, you said it much earlier in the broadcast too. This was only Pivetta's second time pitching in about the last month. So I thought some really encouraging stuff from him, and then obviously the young lefties in Gonzalez and Groom were great.
Steven Gonzalez goes 3 innings, well, 2 2/3 if you're counting outs. 7 of the 8 outs he recorded were Ks. Tim Quintanama, thanks to you. Talk to you soon, Mike. I will see ya. And we should be back tomorrow. Check in around noon or 1. We'll have the live broadcast coverage, because if it's Sim City, we've got a sim game broadcast for you. Dan Fontaine on the camera for all of us here in the booth. We wish you a great rest of your Saturday. Happy Labor Day weekend, everyone. Josh Maurer saying so long. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow.